உங்களுடைய கண்கள் வட கொரியாவை நோக்கி பார்க்கட்டும். வட கொரியால பயங்கரமான ஆயுத ஒரு போராட்டம் நடக்க போகிறது. ஏவுகணைகள் மூலமாக அவைகள் குமிக்கப்பட்டு சேர்க்கப்பட்டு இந்த ஆயுத மிரட்டல்கள், அதாவது அந்த பகுதியில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு வலு சர்ப்பம் நிறைந்த ஒரு பகுதியாக இருக்குது. இந்த வலு சர்ப்பம் தன் வாளை கொண்டு அதை அப்படியே சுருட்டி, வாளை அப்படியே சுருட்டி தூக்கி அடிச்சு தூக்கி வீசினா அப்படி இருக்கும். அதே போலவே இந்த வாளை அப்படியே சுருட்டி இந்த ஏவுகணையை ஏந்தி கொண்டு அப்படியே வீசுவது, அப்படிப்பட்ட காரியங்கள் நடக்க போகிறதை நீங்கள் கேள்விப்பட போகிறீர்கள். ஸோ பி கேர்ஃபுல் ஆஃப் நார்த் கொரியா. நடக்க போகின்ற ஒரு காரியம், அதுக்கு சீனா தேசம் ஒரு பெரிய துணையாக அங்கே இருக்க போகிறது. அது இதுக்கும் அதுக்கும் சம்பந்தம் இல்லாததை போல தன்னுடைய முகத்தை அது கொஞ்சம் கற்பனை பண்ணி பாருங்க. இந்த வலு சர்ப்பம் டிராகன் ஒரு இந்த வில்லன்கள் சிரிப்பானுங்கள அந்த மாதிரி இந்த சர்ப்பம் அப்படி பார்த்து ஒரு சிரிப்பதை போல சிரிக்கும். ஆனால் வெளி தோற்றம் அப்படி இருக்கும். ஆனால் பின்புறமோ அதனை வாளை வைத்துக் கொண்டு இவங்களுக்கு உதவி செய்து அது ஒரு புஷ்அப் அப்படி செய்ய போன்ற காரியங்கள் நடக்க போகிறது.
Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay, so we know this 5.3 earthquake hit last night in Soda Springs, Idaho. 5.3, very shallow. It was only 9.2 kilometers. But folks, since it happened last night, there has been an unbelievable situation develop. 54 aftershocks that are at least 2.5 or higher. Now, there's a bunch of them even lower than that. But let's just go with the ones 2.5 or higher on the U.S. Geological Survey. 54 of them, including a 4.1, a 4.2, a 4.3, and we just had another one, a 4.5, and that one was strong, okay? And the problem is all these aftershocks are anywhere from 7 kilometers to 5 to 2.8. I mean, they're just very shallow. So the earth is really shaken over there in Soda Springs, Idaho. Their ground is moving under their feet. And this super volcano, first of all, Yellowstone National Park is only 136 miles from there. And the super volcano, the main spot of it, is only 198 miles. So this area in Soda Springs, Idaho, it is part of, the super volcano's underneath them, folks.
This is from the 2nd of September, 2017, from Brazil. Clearly, this is similar to the stuff we saw in Brazil a year ago, and that's interesting to me, number one. But number two, check out, you can clearly see a second sun rising here in this picture. This is one of the most credible camera views that we have to show what's going on, and this is exactly where we'd expect it to be. Pretty interesting stuff. And what's also interesting about this is once this object gets to a certain altitude, it disappears, as if there's something blocking it. So this is the real deal here.
So let's take a look at what we discovered and see if it meets the test of what we have said all along, that something is perturbing our solar system and affecting the equilibrium of the Earth. There is no denial. It is happening whether we accept its reality or whether we continue in its denial. We'll start out with a series of images taken during the eclipse, and these are from southeast Idaho, which places this particular group of images in the area of totality. The photographer used an eclipse filter material with the use of the special eclipse glasses with ISO settings of 1600 for those who may be familiar with camera settings. These first images are actual indications of what was visible during the solar eclipse on August 21st. If you look down in the lower right corner, you will see the presence of the object of interest. The circled area shown here was then super enhanced to show the presence of this incoming system. Coincidentally, on the same day of the eclipse in the United States, a live feed from Italy captured this presence, which also indicates its proximity to the Sun, where it is situated now slightly below the ecliptic. Now, a gentleman from Japan produced a couple of charts with some calculations, and this is really important for us to know. He has been able to pinpoint a precise location and distance in astronomical units, what we call AU. And this is for this object at the time of this ecliptic capture. Now, this is what I've been able to interpret from this. He has outlined the distance in terms of its location below the ecliptic line, which is the orbit of the Sun and all the planets. The large white arrow is pointing to the magnified enhancement of the object of interest. Now, he has taken these estimations and provided what he considers to be the precise location of planet X at the time of the eclipse on August 21st. Here's where it gets interesting, because according to his calculations, the system is now located some 340,000 kilometers to the right of the Sun and some 400,000 kilometers below the ecliptic line, which thus places it squarely in an area of concern, where it would be quickly rising to the ecliptic and approaching the point of perihelion with the Sun, which is its closest approach to the Sun before it begins to move outward in its approach towards the Earth. So this could very well explain why they are experiencing a tidal phenomenon in places such as South America and South Africa in the past couple of weeks. And I'll explain more on the unusual movement of the sea later in this presentation. So we are beginning to now see the gradual gravitational effects of this system on the Earth's equilibrium. We have more incredible eclipse images, and so let's take a look at them. These next images were taken from Anchorage, Alaska on the day of the eclipse, August 21st. You'll notice the massive object is seen here below and to the right of the Sun, just as we had shown in the images from Idaho. It's important to remember when you're viewing these particular images that the visibility of the incoming system was better observed from the southern hemisphere in previous months because it was still rising to the ecliptic and thus located below the Earth, where vision was primarily restricted to areas that are located south of the equator. Now that the system is moving closer to the ecliptic, its visibility has extended out, as we had expected it would, with the elongated orbital path of its movement. These next series of photos were captured from the Atlanta area in what was a partial eclipse from this region on August 21st. As the eclipse commences, between 2 and 3 p.m., the object of interest is seen to the lower right of the Sun, just as we saw in Idaho and Alaska hours earlier. A few hours after the eclipse, at around 6:30 p.m., the object is observed at the 5 o'clock position. For those interested in the camera settings and filter optimization, the information is provided for you here. As you observe the magnified frames of the captured image, it is now becoming more apparent, as time progresses, that we have entered into a binary star system, and its effects of its presence can be seen right here on planet Earth. This was videotaped from a network feed during the eclipse and was made available to us via our Facebook page. It looks like the logo to the right indicates that it is the Great American Eclipse. And as you can see, the massive presence is there on the live feed in the same location as all the others, to the lower right at about the 5 o'clock position.
No one ever loses these vital items again. We carry our lives in our keys and wallet. Imagine a world where these two things will no longer be subject to loss or theft. That's not just a matter of convenience, but safety. But there's more. Imagine going into a store and selecting the things you want, then just taking them directly to your car without passing through a checkout. How about mobile banking that is completely secure, with no passwords to remember, and no way for hackers to steal your identity? Wouldn't it be great if online shopping were completely secure without passwords or credit card numbers? Imagine the convenience of walking straight onto your airline flight without long lines at the ticket counter or at the security checkpoint. Wouldn't it be great to get off the plane at your destination and walk directly onto the rental car lot? Then drive off in the car of your choice without even talking to an attendant. Imagine a world where your credit cards cannot be accessed by anyone but you, even if they know your mother's maiden name and that you called your first dog Rover. The worst thing about taxes, other than having to pay them, is the amount of time they take. But with the system, doing taxes will be a breeze. It will fill out your tax form for you, never forgetting anything, and instantly transmit it onto the cloud. As soon as you make a business purchase, it will log and categorize that transaction. It will record and categorize your mileage as you drive. It will make cars impossible to steal. In a medical emergency, paramedics will see your medical history while en route to your location. The hospital and the ambulance will begin to monitor your vital signs the moment they get the emergency call. And a human being won't even need to make the call. The system will call. All of the things I have just described will be possible because of a teeny microchip implanted in the hand. It will monitor people's bodies all the time. It will know when its host has been in an accident or had a heart attack or stroke. If grandmother falls and can't get up, she won't need to push a button. The system will sense her predicament and call for help. The technology will soon exist for the chip to include blood testing sensors that will compile data on a whole range of health issues. It will constantly monitor the blood for signs of cancer, heart disease, STD, and dozens of other diseases that can be detected by subtle changes in the blood. And that is how the Antichrist and false prophet will get 7 billion people to take the mark of the beast. They won't have to threaten most of them. The people will want the system. Why? Convenience. This society worships at the altar of convenience. The mark of the beast system will promise more convenience than the world has ever known before. It will sound like